What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Pillow Talk. My name is Shane Wilson, and as always, I am your host. Here with me today, I have a very, very special guest, the one and only Christian Melman. Christian, say what's up to the people.
Come on, what's going on? I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Shane.
I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you being here. Christian and I are good friends. We attend North Church together, and Christian also works at North Church. Christian, before we get started, do you want to do a little introduction about yourself, what you do, your family, stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, my name's Christian. I work at North Church as a resident there, along with 7 other, or will soon be 8 other, hopefully 9 other amazing residents doing our elementary 1st through 5th grade. I'm married to the amazing Brianne Melman. She's actually Hero of the Week this week, which is huge. Don't let it go to her head. But we have a great, just amazing life together, and it's just been so awesome being here.
Awesome. And we're going to start off with Christian moved here. When did you move to Oklahoma? For college?
Yeah, I moved here it was August 17th, 2016.
Okay.
It was the day, it was the day before I turned 18.
Okay. So, because Christian is originally from Texas, correct?
Yes.
From I know the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Where specifically?
Fort Worth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people from that area, and they get pretty upset if you say like, "Oh, aren't you from Dallas?" and they're actually from Fort Worth. I know it's a big rivalry. Right?
I'm an hour away from Dallas, and people are like, "Oh, you're from Dallas, right?" And I'm like, "No, dude. Like I hate Dallas. I went to Dallas like 5 times in my life."
Okay. I had to be careful to say that area because I wasn't exactly sure because there's also Arlington in there. You never know, man. It gets a little crazy. But I know you say you hate Dallas, but I know you are a Mavs fan, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So my first question, just because the NBA playoffs are going right now, I want you to give me your thoughts on the Mavs, your thoughts on Luka, the potential of this team. We're gonna dip our toes in a little bit with a basketball question.
Okay. Yeah. So Luka, I think right now is the best player in the league. I think top 3. I don't think it's questionable, honestly, if we're being honest. Where do I think the Mavericks should go in terms of NBA playoffs and finals? I think if they play like they're playing against the Clippers right now, they're winning. Okay. I really do. The way it's looking, I mean, the Lakers, I don't think anyone's scared of the Lakers. The Utah Jazz, bro, they're the Utah Jazz, bro. So what do we have to be afraid of? I don't know. I think, but I've seen over this past season that Mavericks looked rough some games. I'm like, dude, we can't just rely on regular season playing. Yeah. But I mean, we're 2 up on the Clippers, and we won in LA. So now we're bringing it back to Dallas, and so we'll see, man. We'll see. I think Luka's the future.
That's awesome. As a Thunder fan, I'm really jealous of you guys being in the playoffs. That's all I gotta say. But no, yeah, I don't think there's any. It could go into any team in the West. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavs ran out with it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers came back and ran out with it. If there's any team. Some of the teams in the East are a little scary, but specifically that big 3 in Brooklyn. That's a scary matchup for any team.
Yeah,
because y'all's defense isn't. But to be fair, they have like the worst defense of all time too.
That's true. They're just playing to outscore people. Yeah. And I saw a stat, like it was right before the playoffs, so obviously things changed, but it was like KD, Kyrie, and Harden had only played like 6 games together all season. Insane. I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, you have these 3 of the best players in the league for sure, and you've only played 6 games together. It's crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Also, before we get too far in, I just want to acknowledge the Christmas PJs.
Yeah.
I said something as soon as he pulled up. I'm a big Christmas guy, so I'm absolutely ecstatic. He has the matching set. He said, "You said from Brianne's family Christmas." Okay.
Yeah, almost every Christmas we get a new set of matching PJs.
That's awesome. I love that. That's a good tradition right there. Now we're gonna skip ahead in my questions a little bit because we don't have to go in order. I usually just play off what the last thing we talked about was. So we're talking about Brianne. Christian is. I'm not gonna. I keep wanting to say he's like newly married it's not. It's but.
He is kind of newly married.
So you want to tell us, when did you guys get married?
So we got married last September 6th. It's Labor Day weekend, which I heard. So we were looking for weekends that would be cheaper. We picked a holiday weekend, which doesn't make it cheaper, makes it more expensive. But we got married on a Sunday, which normally is a cheaper day, but we paid what a Saturday price would be in wedding venues. But now we get to celebrate a 3-day weekend.
Oh, that's
every
smart.
single anniversary.
That's
That's what someone told us after we booked it, and I was like, dude, that's money. That's
genius.
money.
That's genius. And you see, he was quick on that date, so he knows exactly what he's doing. Now, I want to ask you, how did you know? This is a tough question. How did you know that she was the one for you? Maybe it's not a tough question. Maybe it is. But I know you could get pretty deep on it, but I just want you to give us an answer. How did you know that she was the one?
Man, we have stuck it out through thick and thin. There's been so much that's gone on in our relationship. I mean, our relationship started at UCO. So listen to this. Okay. Give it to us. This hasn't been shared really publicly, but I'm sharing it publicly.
I think I know where this is going.
How we met is just hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, Sawyer told me.
Yeah. He told you this? What a chump.
He was like, you should ask him about it. I was like, I'll just see if he comes out with it, but I'm not gonna ask.
So listen, how we met is crazy. So she was in a sorority, I was in a fraternity at UCO.
Shout out Bucks, right?
Shout out Bucks, baby, Rush Bucks. She was in Phi Land, which is a Christian sorority. So we do a lot of stuff with them, but we'd never really crossed paths. And listen, Christian was not living for the Lord. There was a time we've all been there. We all got those BC days, and so even in college when I wasn't perfect, I was still not living for the Lord sometimes. And I was on Tinder, all right, and we swiped right on each other, and we talked for like 3 sentences, and then I deleted the app. Like I was like, this is dumb. Why do I have this? Deleted the app. I remember sitting. I lived at 115 Ashley Drive. I remember sitting in my room. I was like, why am I on this? Deleted the app, and she responded. And I never messaged her back.
Dang.
So she was like, wow, this guy really... And she knew who I was because she was friends with my big in the fraternity. Gotcha. So they were like close. And so she was like, this guy really just like stopped messaging me. Yeah. And so anyways, delete that. I never get back on the app. Like to this day. Like never get back on.
Well, I hope you're not on it right now.
Yeah, not on it right now. Brianne and I joke about it all the time because we're like, what was that conversation? Like, we don't even remember. Yeah. So fast forward like a week later, 2 weeks later, and I'm at a sorority event for her sorority. Okay. And it's at the BCM. And bro, catch me on a ping pong table any day. Love playing ping pong. And I see this girl, beautiful girl. Oh my goodness. I was really like, dude. Bro, it is. And she's playing ping pong with like one of my fraternity brothers. And I'm like, bro, like, she's out of your league. There's no like. I'm gonna just let you know. So I walk up and I said, hey, I'm gonna play the winner. I would love to play, and so the guy walks away because he had lost. You know how guys do it. They lose. He was trying to make him. I said, get out of here, bro. So I play whatever. We talk. Come to find out later on, I connect with her through my big, I think it was, and it was Brianne. And we go and we talk, we go on a date, stuff like that. We start talking and everything starts going there. And she goes, literally that night, I was ignoring you in every way possible. She said when she watched me walk through the room, walked into the BCM, she goes, I hid in the cafe area. I went and hid with my friends. She said she told them all like, bro, that's the guy that like didn't message me back on Tinder, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, the Lord worked it out because here we are. But anyways, all that to say, we have a funny story of how we met. We joke about it all the time. I tell people because I straight up introduced myself. Like I was like, hey, I'm Christian. It's good to meet you. All this stuff. No idea who she was. She thought I was just being a jerk and was just like, oh, well, like he's just acting like we haven't talked before. No, I had no idea. Now, it plays in my favor because anytime I forget something, I remind her that I set the bar low for my memory because I told her I never remembered who she was. But anyways, all that to say, dude, we went through so much. I mean, that's just a funny story of how we came together. But so I had back surgery, and this was a big key. I had back surgery 2 summers ago. I think it was. I'm so off on it now. I think it was 2 summers ago. And I was gone for a whole month and a half-ish. And one thing I told myself was like, man, and I told her this. I was like, not before, but after. I was like, I was a part of North at the time and really heavily involved. And she was slowly getting more involved. And she was kind of like finding her own footing. And I was like, man, this is going to be a good test of like, where's your heart in the church when I'm not there? Because that's something we had talked a lot about, like very vulnerably. It's like, it's hard because I'd been at North. I had made my footprint, stuff like that. Well, I come back and she's like, hey, I'm serving every weekend. I'm so much more involved. I'm meeting with Amanda Hoover and all these things. And I'm like, dude, this is money. like got invested, and God just really like opened that door, and I was like, I can't, like, I'm not, where else am I gonna go, bro? Like, she's my best, dude. She's the best.
Come on, that's beautiful. We love that. And I know they've already started a little bit of a family.
We have.
I keep wanting to say recently because time's flying so fast, but it is still somewhat recent, right?
It's recent. We can say recently. It's within a year.
You guys adopted a dog. You want to talk a little bit about Jason?
Oh, Jason. Jason's a crackhead, but he's the best. He's 5.5 years old, and he's a pit bull mix. Okay. And when we went and got Jason, we got him about 2 months ago now. I think we got him in, May? I think we got him into February, so maybe like 3 months now. Yeah. And we had picked out 2 dogs we wanted online. We wanted to look at. Brianne picked out one, and I picked out one. And Jason was not one of those. He was not posted online or anything like that. So I found Waldo. Cute, beautiful pit bull.
Where's Waldo? Christian found him.
Sorry, I had to.
You had to insert it.
I just had to. I was like, I can't not say it.
You can't miss that. So we found Waldo, and we found Danny was the one that Brianne found. We found Danny as soon as we went to the shelter. Danny was 41 pounds overweight.
Oh my goodness.
Danny was 41 pounds overweight. And so she was 96 pounds, something like that, and she needed to be like 50, like 55 pounds. And so the thing with our apartment complex is they have a rule that your dog can't be over 50 pounds. And so I'm like, man, before we even get this dog out, like, we know she needs to be less. Why? I don't want to get her out, play with her, and then fall in love, and then be like, we can't take you. So I call our apartment complex. I'm like, hey, here's the deal. We're at the shelter. We're about to get a dog out, but I don't want to get him out until I know if this is okay. And so we talk about it. I said, she's supposed to lose 41 pounds, but she's 96 right now. Apartment complex did not care. They were like, yeah, that's fine. Like, as long as they're a nice dog. I'm like, why do you put these rules out there? That's like, you are double the weight you were supposed to be. Anyways, so we get the dog out. We get Danny out. She's really sweet. She's not the one. So now we're trying to find Waldo. And we're walking around, and we find this back room with like Kindles and stuff like that, which if you've ever been to a shelter, it's like beyond sad. Yeah. Like, I'm glad they have a place that they can be out there and get chosen, but it's so sad. So we walk to this back room with more shelters or more kennels, and there's a dog that has peed all over the door, that has pooped multiple times in his cage, and that has literally chewed through these metal walls trying to get to the other kennel. And it's Waldo. And this dog is barking up a storm. I mean, just all over the place. And Brianne looks at me and really is like, you really think we're going to get that dog out and try and see if he's cute? Like, there's no chance. So Waldo was not the choice. So we go walking around some more, and we find another dog. We're looking or whatever. And Brianne's like, man, we just haven't found the one. We had gone to get a dog, and they were like, hey, he's already spoken for. So we're like, well, that sucks. Like, yeah. We guess we're not getting him. So we're like, let's just give it one more time. So we keep walking around. We go back by Waldo. And the cage he was trying to chew into, we were so distracted by Waldo. Jason is curled up in a ball, like shaking, scared almost, because he's sitting next to Waldo's cage while Waldo's trying to break in. So we grabbed Jason out, and we just fell in love with Jason. Yeah. Like, as soon as we got him out, Brianne was like, this is the one. Like, he sat with her immediately. He's house trained. He knows basic commands. Dude, just the sweetest dog ever. So now we have Jason. He's 5.5 years old. He's a pit mix. He's just the greatest, man. He's the best. We have some hoodies for him and everything like that. Awesome. It's the cutest thing ever.
And I know you guys, you catch a little bit of slack at church because people think it's funny that your dog has a person name, which, I mean, our dog's name is Sam. So, like, you know, I think it's fine. Yeah. But that's just so funny to me that your dog's name is Jason.
Dude, we didn't name him that. Like, he had that. Yeah. But I don't think going forward, I think Brandon and I will name every dog a person name. That's like, it's the funniest thing ever. We make jokes about it when we're like yelling at Jason to do something. We're like, what are our neighbors thinking? Like, why are they yelling at this guy to do something? And it's great.
They're like, why are they getting mad at this guy Jason for pooping on the carpet? This guy has some issues. Okay. So my next question is, okay, so this is a little bit out of left field. I'm not sure if you've watched Pillow Talk before, but on my second one with Sawyer, because I've done 2 with Sawyer. I asked him, out of all his groomsmen, who would win in like a battle royale, like fight. And so the first thing he said is Zachary Alford is the first one out, which is fair.
Okay.
And then he kind of went back and forth. I think his final answer was Bill would be the winner.
No doubt.
And then I asked Lex. He was the guest. Last week, Lex was the guest, and he also agreed that Bill would win. I want to know who you think the winner would be and how you think you would do in this battle royale. If you need me to, I can go through all the groomsmen real quick.
I think Bill's no doubt winning.
Okay.
Like I don't think there's a question there. Like I think Sawyer and him are the last 2. Just because I think out of like respect for Sawyer, I think a lot of us would kind of lay off. You know, like we're his groomsmen. I think we'd kind of lay off and worry about everyone else. But honestly, I think Bill's taking it. And then if Zach's the first one out. Zach's soft. But I would be second one out. There's no doubt.
think so?
I'd be second one out. Dude, I'm not a fighter, but I could take Zach. I think I could take
I
Zach.
think we could all take Zach.
I think we could too. We can let him know that
I
one.
think the only person that couldn't take Zach is Julian. Not that Julian's one of the groomsmen. I just like dissing Julian. I just like dissing Julian. Okay, so I appreciate the honesty and the humility, because
I'm not a fighter.
Sawyer asked me. He was like, "How do you think you would do?" I was like, "Not good."
Yeah, dude,
I
my
wouldn't.
background doesn't go that far.
That's all I'm saying. He's like, "But you're a black belt." I'm like, "Okay, and
I got self-defense.
you see how skinny I am?
On me.
I could defend myself, but that doesn't mean that I'm out here fighting people."
Right.
That's facts. Okay. I like that. Now the next one, we already mentioned that you are a Mavs fan. I also know you rock with another Dallas team,
Yes.
the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
Is this their year?
No, it's not. It's never gonna be for a while, unfortunately.
Honesty.
It's heartbreaking, dude. I have the most heartbreaking teams. Like I'm a Rangers fan,
Okay.
I'm a Cowboys fan,
Okay.
and I'm a Mavericks fan. The only one to win a championship while I've been alive has been the Mavericks. Like, it's so heartbreaking, dude. Just give up on it. I think the Cowboys will get there eventually, but it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while, man.
Do you think Dak is legit? You think it's going to be with Dak, or you think we're going to have to go a different direction?
I think there's so much we have to improve on defensively before it even matters what our quarterback looks like. Like, I think Dak is great. I don't think at all that he's like the not the guy. But I just think we have so much to improve on outside of that one role that it's like, I'll take a 4-star QB if we will, for wherever you want to put him on the ranking. I'll take a 4-star QB, but we need to improve the rest of our team because we have a 2-star defense. Okay. Our defensive backs are terrible. It's terrible.
Okay, well, I appreciate you not being a delusional Cowboys fan. I know they get a bad rep because some people like Sawyer over here are a little bit delusional sometimes, but that's okay.
It's okay to believe.
It's okay to believe, but it's not okay to be delusional. My next question. So you actually attended college on a bowling scholarship. Is this correct?
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course it's going to come up. So why would I not talk about it? Okay, so the way it works, I bowled my whole life. My whole family's bowlers, basically, like all the guys, my uncles, my dad, me, my brother. And for men, unless it's a private college, you can't really get a specific scholarship. They hook you up with scholarships through the school. So that's how I got in or whatever. But so I bowled my whole life. Traveled around the country bowling. It was a ton of fun. And I know the question's going to come up, so I'm going to answer it now. I've never bowled a 300. I've been there multiple times. Multiple times. It always comes up. But someone on the other side of this is asking, man, have you ever bowled a 300? I answered their question for them. My dad actually gave us a hard time because me and my brother are both better bowlers than my dad. But my dad bowls more often. And my dad ended up bowling a 300 before all of us and gave us a hard time about it. But so basically ended up bowling for UCO. We had a team of about 8 to 9 of us on the guy side and about 7 to 8 on the women's side. And we got to travel. I mean, it was so much fun, dude. We traveled. We'd go up through Kansas, Iowa. One of the best trips we went to was Indianapolis. We went to Vegas for Christmas break. That's awesome. It was awesome, dude. That was my first time in Vegas, and it was huge. And so it was just something fun we picked up as a family. And then, honestly, one of the most impactful people in my life was my coach. Her name was Cheryl Newman. And she's known me since we started when I was maybe like 9 or 10. Mm-hmm. Now I'm 22. Wow. So she was always there. She was constant. She's one of the most constant people I've ever met in my life. Like, every Saturday, every Sunday, she was there. Every Wednesday night, she was there at the bowling. Like, it was crazy. And so she just reached out to my family and like was talking about it and was like, hey, we have a league, like a family league. That's how they get you. My first ball was a Shrek bowling ball. It had like, I can't remember which Shrek it was. Maybe it was Shrek 3. Is that the one that has like Puss in Boots on the front? I don't know. But dude, it was ugly green with literally all the Shrek characters. This was my first ball. And we just went from there, and we bowled our whole lives, traveled all across. I mean, I got to go to New York twice, went to Buffalo and New York City, went to Indianapolis, Chicago, and just got to travel and just bowl. Like, it was great. Yeah, it was great.
That's awesome, bro. You know I'm an elite bowler. You've seen my bowling skills. You know how good I am.
Potential. The potential is there.
That's how you know I'm bad. He said you got the potential. So I want to ask you, how does someone become good at bowling? Is it just practice?
Yeah, just like anything else, it's practice. I mean, we talk about this a lot with actually Pastor Christian, who was on the show not too long ago. It's so disgusting sometimes when you hear someone say like, "Oh, that guy's so talented." Yeah. Like, he has so much talent. But it wasn't talent that got. Talent only gets you so far, right? Like, it's straight up practice. Like, you look at Kobe, LeBron, any of the greats in their sport, it's not because they're just came out of the womb talented.
Yeah, obviously, that's a big plus, but you gotta grind.
You gotta grind, dude. And so, I mean, in bowling, you're not looking at peak athleticism. You're not looking for someone who's benching 350 times, dude. You just need to have be able to practice. Like,
so you said you've never bowled a 300. What is your best score that you've gotten?
My best was a 389. Not 389, 289.
I was trying to figure out in my head. I'm like, maybe I don't understand the sport of bowling.
289.
Okay.
289. So I was 2 strikes away multiple times.
For me, that's absurd. You were there the other night when I was bowling, and I literally on the first 5. After like the first 5, I was at like 1. My score was literally like 1. It was bad.
Wasn't even that you were like goofing around. Like, I know you, like, for part of it, you were genuinely trying, Shane, and that kind of hurt.
It's like I get to the point where I realize like that I just need to start messing around, because if people can tell that I'm actually trying, it's gonna be bad.
The thing is like you set the expectations low. You just got to. You set them low, and you exceed them at a normal level, but it looks great because you set them low.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I'm a mastermind.
That's right.
Me.
Go ahead. No, then you turn around and throw it underneath your legs and get a strike. And it's like, what the heck, bro? This guy's a genius.
That was one of the coldest moments of my life. Because, like, I yelled, I was like, hey, everybody watch this. And then I just hiked the ball between my legs and got a strike after after gutter balling every single shot. But I always joke with Christian that we need to start trying to play like some real sports, because he's into bowling and we're gonna go play disc golf soon. He's talking about ping pong. Like we gotta play some football or something, bro.
We go start like a rec football league at North in the field, full pads and everything.
We're just out here hitting people, bro, in the name of the Lord.
That's right. We'll pray for that.
So my next question is, I know would you call yourself a sneakerhead?
Or you just like shoes?
I don't know. I think I'm on the brink of it.
Okay.
Like, I love shoes. I do. And I've always loved them. Even when I was in school, like, it was weird. We could only wear certain colored shoes. Like, it could only be like straight up white, black, brown, blue, or red.
What?
Yeah, I went to a private Christian school in Fort Worth. So we had uniforms. We had green polos and khaki shorts or pants. And we had our hair couldn't be on our necks or over our ears.
That's why you're going it out.
It's all out of rebellion. And so it was so weird because like I would spend most of my time in Foot Lockers and Finish Lines with my dad when I was young, and I was like, oh my God, those are so cool. And then he would be like, you can't get them. Yeah. Like, dude, it was the worst feeling in the world. So when I got out of high school and all that, I started kind of like, man, I really do like shoes a lot. And so I think now it's forming to where I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm kind of like getting into it a little bit more.
Now I gotta ask, what is your favorite sneaker currently in your collection?
So my favorite sneaker, I actually don't own a lot that are like high end or nice. Yeah.
Anything too crazy.
So
I know you. Sometimes you show up. I'm like, wow, he's got the heat tonight.
So my favorite sneaker is one that actually Brienne's whole family bought me. I would never be able to buy it on my own, but it's a pair of Human Races, and they're the Holy Festival pack. And what they're black and maroon. They're beautiful. I love the Human Race shoe. Honestly, they're killing it because they just keep making more. Yeah. But it used to be a really hype shoe, and so I love it. It's brown maroon, and it has in Hindi, I believe, the word for like equality. And so the Holy Festival, that's what it separates, is like the equality of everyone in their culture. And so I just love the meaning of the shoe. I love the way it looks. I think it looks just legit. But yeah.
That's so sick.
I actually have a funny story about that. Her grandma, so her grandparents, her parents, Brienne, and I think a set of uncle and aunts all pitched in to buy the shoe for me. Because it was a pretty pricey shoe.
Yeah.
They bought it off StockX, so you know you're going to pay a little bit more, all your fees, stuff like that. Yeah. Got those that Crocs collection. Bumps you up like 50% with that fee stuff. But so they gave them to me on Christmas 2 years ago, and I wore them to her grandparents because obviously I'm going to rock them. Like as soon as I got them, I was like, I'm putting these on. And I'm walking in, and her grandma is one of the most blunt people in the world. And she was like, and so I've learned I can be blunt back. Like she's not going to step on me like that. Love Grandma Bazel. And she was like, man, Christian, like, I don't know why you wanted those. Those are some of the ugliest things I've ever seen. And I looked at Grandma. I said, Grandma, it doesn't matter how ugly you think they are. You still paid for them. And she was like, you're exactly right, Christian. And I remember walking away, and Brienne's brother was like, why the heck would she say that to you? You just put them on, and she's calling your shoes ugly.
That's the funniest part is that she helped buy them for you.
For him, bro. I was like,
yeah, bro. Sometimes with your shoes, you got to learn to have a hard head. You can't take what people say personally, especially when you wear ugly stuff like that. You just got to take it, bro. Now I want to ask you, what is a pair of shoes that you want that is not currently in your collection? Whether it's realistic or it's just like a stupid shoe that like you would probably not be able to afford. I want you to give it to me.
Yeah, so the stupid shoe that I'm never going to be able to afford are the Off-White Prestos.
Okay.
The black and tan ones. Not the all whites or not the all blacks. Kind of like the black and tan Off-White Prestos. I think they're like... I think they're over $1,000. They're beautiful. I love them. Another unrealistic shoe is the Union ones, the Union LA ones. I just think they're gorgeous. But the realistic shoe I want, and I've been wanting it, and I should have pulled the trigger like 8 months ago, and I didn't. Maybe even a year ago. Christian Velez was like, pull it. Like, you better get them now. Are the Jordan 1 Milans.
Okay.
And so they're mids, and they're like tannish and like almost like a peachy apricot like color. Beautiful shoe, super simple. When I was looking at them, they were like 140, 150, which is like a mid sells. I think 115 is what they retail. I could be wrong, but hopefully Velez doesn't watch this and like critique's like, bro, you're so wrong on that. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, for sure he's gonna clip it and roast me on Insta. No, but they like retail at 115, and so 140 after fees, you're looking at like 160. Dude, they're at like 2 something now, like 250, 260, and I'm like, dang. And when I was looking at them, Christian was like, dude, you better do it before they go up. You better do it. And I was like, no. Like, I try not to buy shoes for myself, but no, I missed the opportunity. Oh, dude, so much. I should have done it.
Now, I want to ask you this question. I want you to say the first thing pops into your head. What is your favorite TV show of all time?
Oh, goodness. Shows popped in my head, but they weren't my favorite TV shows. They were Brienne's favorite TV shows. That's the worst part.
Popped into your head?
Friends and New Girl are her all-time favorites.
Okay, what's yours? Do you have one?
Oh, my goodness. I think, okay, I'm going to say just because I'm on it right now, I think it's Arrow. Because I'm on it right now, and I'm rewatching it, which tells me I enjoy it a lot. I really like Community.
Okay.
Community's hilarious to me.
I watched a couple episodes of that.
It's Joel McHale, I just think is so funny. And he came to UCO one time out. Like, that's where I heard about the show, do stand-up, and I thought it was hilarious. This is my BC days, so bear with me. Don't watch this show if you're watching this podcast. Don't watch it. But Blue Mountain State.
I know.
Yeah, that when I was like, I don't know why my parents let me watch it, but when I was in high school, I watched it probably 8 or 9 times all the way through. Like, it was so bad for me. But yeah, those are probably my 3.
Nah, bro.
I feel you though, because in this house we're big Game of Thrones fans. That's definitely not.
Yeah.
That's definitely not a family-friendly
Like a
show.
PG show
Yeah,
right
if you're under 18, do not watch these shows. If you're over 18, well, I mean, I'm not the boss of you. You can do whatever you want, but you shouldn't. And if you're over 18, you still shouldn't, but
Right.
you can.
Right.
Okay.
Arrow's fine. Arrow's acceptable.
Can you do the ladder thing where he like jumps up on the
Dude,
thing?
the salmon ladder, dude. I saw that on American Ninja Warrior, and when I saw it on Arrow, I was like, I know what that is. I was like, no chance, dude. It's
I
unreal.
don't have any upper body strength. That would not go well. I'll tell you that.
Let's be real. I know you're a WWE guy. You got Johnson. You got Hornswoggle in the back here. I was a big WWE guy. Did you ever see when Stephen Amell was on WWE, bro, and they were making him the arrow on it?
I watched that.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yes,
Now
bro.
Bad Bunny's on there. All these people.
Yes, bro. I do remember that. That you just brought back memories,
Memories
bro.
right there.
I completely forgot about that until you mentioned
Dude.
it.
That's funny, bro. No, I need to start working on my salmon ladder. I guess gotta get the upper body
Well,
strength.
so we can play the real sports.
Yeah,
You gotta get
exactly.
the upper body strength and the core strength.
We're just gonna come back ripped. Next time you see me, Christian, we're gonna be ripped.
Next pillow talking a year with us, it's gonna be like
It's gonna be like massive. We're gonna be in the gym while we're recording. We'll do the salmon ladder for you guys.
We'll do a demonstration, a little seminar.
It's not even pillow talk anymore. It's just a workout video.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right. My next question. My next two questions actually are about you in the church. The first one is they're both personal questions, not like that personal. But the first one is, what is your favorite Bible verse if you have one? Because I know some of the guests, they're like, oh, I don't have one. It just kind of depends on like what I'm looking for at that time. But do you have one that always stands out to you?
Yeah, so one that's always stood out to me, and it's not. I feel like it's a generic answer to say like I don't know. It depends on the season for what my favorite is versus, but that's so true. Yeah. It's gonna go back and forth. I think that's just the power of the Word of God being able to do that, in every season. But the one that's really stuck with me is 2 Corinthians 6:2, and it's so crazy. Basically, what he's writing is basically saying now is the day of salvation. And so I'm not gonna. I honestly can't quote it word for word verbatim. But it's just so weird because basically what he's talking about is like the urgency for salvation and the urgency for like today's the day to be saved. Like, don't wait another day. Don't wait another week. Don't say, oh, I got to get my life. We talk about that all the time. Like how people want to say like, oh, I'll get my life in line and then I'll get baptized, or I'll get my life in line and then I'll be a Christian. It's like,
First step.
no, like you get your life in line after you become a Christian. And so I actually saw that when I see the church now in downtown Fort Worth area, right off 820, I think it is, or maybe I-30. I get them all confused because I wasn't really driving much when I was in Texas. But there's like 15 million highways in the area. But we were driving back from my grandparents, and I was maybe like 10 or 11, and I was already saved at the time. I got saved at like 8. I remember sitting there with my small group leader, Luke Myers. He doesn't even really know the impact he's had on my life, but it's huge. They never do. I looked at that guy like he was perfect. Like he was never do no wrong. And at a D now, he led me to Christ, all this stuff. But I remember driving back when I was like 10 or 11, and on this like ghetto church sign was just 2 Corinthians 6:2. That was like, now is the time for salvation. And I like went and looked it up as soon as we got home, all this stuff. And so that's something that's always stuck with me and been a reminder of like, don't wait. Like someone is waiting. Someone I'm going to come in path with, someone I'm going to walk by, talk to. They're waiting for something major to happen. But like, just remind them like today's the day of salvation. Like
there will always be a reason to put it off. You'll always come up with a reason to put it off. That you just got to do it. You just got to pull the trigger. Like you were saying, just pull the trigger.
No, for sure.
That's awesome. Now, my second question, you mentioned you are the elementary coordinator.
Yeah.
Is that the correct title?
Yeah. That's
okay.
like that's more specific.
And I know you're kind of running the stuff up there in North Kids upstairs. And so I want to ask, why are you so passionate about because we've had a lot of the guys on here, Sawyer, Lex, Pastor Christian, that are specific to youth ministry. You're youth ministry, but you're also like children's ministry. So why are you so passionate about youth and children's ministry?
Man, some of the most form in a kid's life comes in this time.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I don't know the exact age range, but it's like 4 to 10 or something like 4 to 12 is like the most growth period of a kid's life. And I could be wrong there, but it's something around those time frames. And so I look at someone who's in 1st through 5th grade and I'm like, man, what are we doing to set them up to be on fire for God? Because we can't, the thing is like, as a leader, and even for parents, you can't force your kids to be Christians, and nor do you ever want to. You don't want to force them into that. But you can allow them, and you can present an atmosphere and a culture around them that is appealing, and they just fall in love with it. And they fall in love with God. They fall in love with what Scripture says. And so why I'm passionate about kids ministry is because at one point I was a kid. At one point you were a kid. You were a kid, bro. And someone, we still are. That's why I'm in kids ministry, because I'm still a kid, so it gives me a right to be immature. But at some point, someone was telling us about Jesus. And had someone never done that, I don't know where I would be today. Right. You know, I never got to go through anything like Awana or kids Bible school, stuff like that. But I did get to go to kids ministry starting in 5th grade. And that was huge for me. 5th grade, then 6th, 7th, 8th, and then obviously through students and stuff like that. But it's like, man, what would my life look like if starting in 1st grade, I was in the church? Yeah. But I wasn't turned off from the church. I was actually drawn to it because the church is exciting. Yeah. Scripture is fun. It's inviting. It's incredible. And so I'm passionate about kids ministry because in 10 years, let's be real, most of that congregation is going to be phased out. A lot of them are. And the people that are going to be in it are our kids. Yeah. Are going to be the students, are going to be, Christian and I talk about it all the time, and Candy, my boss, we talk about it all the time as like the future of North Church, the future of any church. It's in the kids, it's in the students, it's in the baby room, it's in what's being spoken over this next generation, because we're not going to last forever. Right. People are going to phase out and new people are going to come in. So it's like, how are we shaping that, especially in culture today? Culture today is like, hey, let's accept everyone. Let's allow everyone in. Like, yes, that's great. I understand it. But it's like, we can accept everyone and love everyone, but we have to do it in terms of what Scripture says. We have to be in tune to what Scripture says. I don't want we talked about some of the shows we watched. Yeah. Those shaped us, whether we know it or not. Yeah. And had we had maybe some more leadership, some more guidance, some more input, some more functionality, or some more form around what we were watching or listening to, or who was speaking into our lives, it would look so much different. And so even in a world today where that stuff is so much more accessible, all of the rated R stuff, rated M stuff is accessible. Man, if I can give them 1 hour on a Sunday where we can kind of get them back in line and hope that they're set up for the most success in 5 years. Because I know when they get to Christian and students, he's going to be doing the same thing. We have the same vision. And that's so important that our vision aligns so that as we push them to him, they're not thrown off by what we're doing. So,
dude, that's awesome. And I could just tell, like, that's what I love about talking to people that, not even just people that work in the church, but with people that work in the church. You can just tell how passionate they are. Like, when I asked you, I could tell your eyes just lit up and you just started going. Like, I didn't even have to ask another question. You just started going, and I love that. And I want to say, I got to give major props to North Kids. Not only recently, but just like in the past. And something that I didn't know until I started serving in North Kids is that the North Kids vision is actually slightly different than the North Church vision. You guys add in something extra. Do you want to tell people what the North Kids vision is?
Yes, the North Kids vision is love God, love people, have fun, and follow Jesus. It's just so important that the kids know that they're going to have fun. I think so many people, like, if I told a college student, hey, love God, love people, have fun, and follow you, they'd look at me like, what are you talking about, dude? Like that, if they never knew the Lord or anything like that, they would be like, what do you, have fun? What do you mean? But if I tell a kid that, they're like, have fun? Yeah, like, yeah. And so we incorporate that in everything we do. We're like, dude, we're going to have a ton of fun because life isn't boring. It's not meant to be boring. You could look everywhere in Scripture, and it was not boring. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
Well, that's awesome. The church... Well, people are like, oh, well, if they're having fun, are they really learning? If you're doing it the right way, if you're doing it the right way, they should be. Now, this next question, I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea what it means. I told Sawyer that you were going to be on here, and he said that I needed to ask you about running into the pole with a stick.
All right.
I don't know. That's all I have.
Sawyer's really just throwing everything under the bus here, man. Bus right now, okay, so in high school, my junior year, we were tasked with breaking down our musical set. Okay. So we had to take all of it from the auditorium, which was like north side of campus, all the way down to the south side, which wasn't far. I didn't go to a big school, but we had to carry it all these wood props, all these 2x4 stuff like that.
You didn't go to a big school, but you went to school in Texas, so it was probably bigger than most schools we see here, right?
I would compare it to OCA.
Okay.
Like,
It's a big camp.
I think yeah. So it was funny when we finally looked back on it. We were like, wow, we just went to a school of nothing but portable buildings. You know, when like the metal sheet buildings, like that's literally all my school was. Our gym was that. Our classrooms were that. Everything was that. But we were attached to a church, so the church was this beautiful brick building. Right. But then the school was like just tacked on the end. Funny. But anyways, so we were walking from our auditorium, the church auditorium, to the dumpster. Okay. I probably came from one of the worst classes in my school's era. I say one of. We had some pretty bad ones. And like for a private Christian school, it can't be that bad. But like we made substitute teachers cry. We made teachers quit. Like we were PC, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we did stuff like that. And in a private Christian school, that you didn't do that. Like you weren't making those choices, stuff like that. It was like beyond scared straight in there, dude. They were shouting at you and everything. I'm just playing. But so we're carrying this stuff, and we had a blacktop like court. Yeah. Like it was just, dude. It literally, I don't know how to describe the shape of it. It was like that. Okay. Like it wasn't rectangle at all. It was just like legit. It was just like an amoeba, like of a cell, just like I don't even know. I don't know if that's right at all. But I'm gonna have to look up a picture of amoeba now to see how stupid I sound. But no. So, and it had 2 basketball poles, and one of my buddies looked at me, and was like, "Dude, what if we took this 2x4?" and slammed it into a basketball pole together. And I was like, that sounds dumb. But then he said, so we had this, dude, you like ranch? Yeah. We had like Miracle Ranch at my school. Like I swear, this stuff was beautiful. It's 25 cents for a little cup. You put it on everything. It made everything, elevated it 100 times. Yeah. Best ranch I've ever had. I have not had a ranch to this day that was better than our cafeteria ranch. Like Bricktown Brewery Ranch, top notch. Mazio's Ranch, top notch. Does not top Temple Christian School cafeteria ranch at all. So, dude, I'm saying, bro. But so we used to buy like maybe like 4 of them a day for lunch, like to go with our meals, because I mean we had like greasy cafeteria foods. Like pizza, yeah. And so he looked at me. He goes, "Bro, I bet you ranch for the rest of the year if you do this." He said, "Whoever lets go at the last second has to buy the other person's ranch," which like for the rest of the year, we are only halfway through the school year. Yeah, that's a lot so yeah, that's $1 a day basically. Yeah. And so it was so dumb. I'll show you the video in a bit, but we have a good video of it. And so the guy I was running with was our star wide receiver. Oh, no. His name's Nathan Garinger. He's a great guy. Love Nathan. He's an amazing dude. And I look at him as a dude. I'm unathletic. Like I'm not fast.
Like we said, we don't do real sports.
Right. And I was like, I need you to go off of my pace, not your own. Because he's going to take off and he's going to run a 4.640 real quick while I'm over here running like a 6 flat. and so I'm like, dude, we just, like when I start, you keep with me. I'm going to sprint, but understand my sprint's not your sprint. Yeah. So people are watching, of course. And he goes, all right, 3. Someone counts us down. 3, 2, 1. He dead sprint as fast as he can. I swear I've never seen this man run this fast in my life. Maybe it's because I'm terrified. So automatically I'm here holding it at our stomachs. My hands go from here to here. I am looking at this 2x4. I'm like, there's absolutely no way this is about to happen. So the whole run I'm like crap, like pulling it down. And sure enough, we run straight into the pole. We don't let go. And it actually broke over my neck. Like straight up, if you watch the video, it takes up this entire portion of my neck. So I always joke about having a long neck, and I say that's where it extended itself a little bit. It got stretched out. So we ran into it, and adrenaline's pumping. Yeah. Like you have adrenaline going through. Everyone's laughing, cracking up. We have 2 video angles, one in slow-mo, one in fast. And so I come off, my neck is entirely red. People thought like it busted me in the face, all this stuff. It didn't. I was perfectly fine. Like, I thought I was going to be hurt. Like, everyone was like, dude, are you okay? Like, people thought I was tripping. Like, that I was just like, oh, dude, like, you're trying to play it off. Like, if you're hurt, go see someone. But who am I going to go see? The nurse? Like, what are you going to tell her? Yeah. So nothing said about it. But literally maybe 30 seconds later, no hesitate, like no joke. We're walking around still cleaning up. I step on a nail from the like school supplies and stuff like that. And so I had thick enough soles on my shoes or whatever, and it came through and it poked my foot and it hurt. It didn't feel great at all. Yeah. And so I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like I was in pain. And so I limp to the school nurse because like when you step on a nail, you have to go to the nurse. Yeah. Like you got to get in peroxide, you got to make sure you have your shots, all that stuff to make sure. Yeah. And so I'm in there and she's like, why is your neck really red? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like having a reaction to something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know. It just itches a lot. Not the case. I'm like, I can't tell you I just ran into a pole with a 2x4. Like I can't. Our principal comes in, all this stuff. And like I'm sitting there with my foot in the water, or not the water, like the hydrogen peroxide, all this stuff, cleaning it out. And needless to say, he asks me again and I don't tell him. I just say, man, my neck's red. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, it itches. So the next day, I think it was either the next day or like later in the day, our vice principal, Chris Miller, he like, we're in his class and he's like, Christian, what is this video I just watched of you? And sure enough, people were showing the video of me running into the 2x4, but they couldn't get me in trouble because it already passed. Yeah. And so it was just, dude, it was so dumb. But it got, I mean, our valedictorian talked about it in our graduation speech, all this stuff. And so, yeah, that's how I ran into it. And I'm waiting. I know it's going to be in a sermon. I know I'm going to use it one day. Like, I'm going to be like, hey, I want you to check out this video. Nobody's going to expect to see me. Keep in mind, too, this was during baseball season. I had blonde hair. Ooh. It was bad. Like bleach blonde hair. It was so bad. And I was like, well, here we are. And so
the story was so much better than I was ever expecting it to be.
I'll see if I can get the video to you so you can even maybe upload it at the end.
Stay posted to the end of this video. If Christian can send it to me, I'm going to put it at the end. So make sure you watch this whole thing.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
There's no way that these questions can follow that. That was an amazing story. But I'm going to ask you these 3 questions. We just have 3 questions left unless I come up with something.
Okay.
So the next question. Don't look.
Sorry. That is a habit. I'm actually looking at the timer there.
The next question is, so you're from Texas, like we mentioned. Yep. Texas and Oklahoma have a little bit of a rivalry. Yep. Yeah. Not just in terms of like football teams, just in general is what I'm saying. In general. What are your thoughts as a Texan now living in Oklahoma?
I honestly love Oklahoma. Okay. Edmond is probably one of my favorite places in the world. Living in, I guess I'm technically Oklahoma City, but Edmond. I'm Edmond. Yeah, I'm on that border. It's so different. So in Texas, and Brianna and I fight this a lot. Not fight this, but like go back and forth on this. But in Texas, there's so much to do. Like, you're never not doing something in Texas. You want to go downtown, you go downtown. You want to go to Six Flags in Hurricane Harbor, you go to Six Flags in Hurricane Harbor. You want to go to Dallas, you could go to Dallas. You want to go to a sporting event, you go to a sporting event. And, like, maybe that's just because of my age range. When I was living in Texas, that's what I was doing. But when I got up here to Oklahoma, there's nothing to do in Oklahoma.
That's correct.
You have a Thunder game. And the only time I went to the Thunder game was when they were playing the Mavericks. So, which are fun. But the reality is like there's not a whole lot to do in Oklahoma. Not like exciting, exhilarating stuff. I think you can find stuff to do.
You're right.
There's exactly right. Absolutely find stuff to do. So what that forced me to do was stop moving. Like stop trying to do a bunch of stuff. So I literally here in college, fell in love with coffee. Fell in love with coffee shops. Fell in love with just sitting and having a conversation with a person. And like my friendships in Texas were very much a let's go do something and just really not talk about anything. And now my friendships here are like, hey, let's go talk. I don't really want to do anything. Let's just go talk and hang out. Like this stuff right here. Like this would have never happened in Texas because we would have been like, bro, let's go down the street to Pops, or well, I guess Pops is here. There's a Steel City Pops down in Fort Worth. It's like a big place to go to. Let's go here. Let's go do this. And it's like, dude, let's just go sit. Let's go sit in a bed and talk about life.
Talking to a microphone.
Yeah. And so I love Oklahoma. I don't know that I could live anywhere else in Oklahoma, if I'm being real honest. Get too far outside, it's a little too country for me. I'm not country at all. I own 1 pair of boots. So I'm like, I barely know how to two-step. I learned how to two-step here. So like me being in Texas, I was not the stereotypical Texan. And so I love Oklahoma. Do I think Texas is better than Oklahoma in terms of the state? Yes. I will always.
There's a lot more to do.
There's more to do. There's just a lot more. Do I think the people in certain areas are better in Oklahoma? Yes. Like I'm in love with Oklahoma, and I'm in love with Edmond. I could live in Edmond, and I could live in Broken Arrow. I don't want to live in Broken Arrow.
Yeah, but it's a big
But
enough
because
city
it's big enough and around Tulsa, I could do it.
one of the like kind of suburbs.
Yeah. And that's how Edmond is to Oklahoma
Yeah,
City.
exactly.
And so Edmond is like, if you've heard of Southlake in Texas,
Yeah.
take Edmond and multiply by like income by like 4.
Yeah.
Like bougie. Like
Yeah.
bougie.
Sounds like it.
And so like living in Edmond, it almost kind of gives me that feel like oh, I'm in the nicer side of things. I grew up in like the ghetto.
Yeah.
I grew up in the hood. I tell Brienne that all the time. But like, I mean, it was just the truth.
Yeah.
And so that's why I went to private school.
Yeah.
Because if I went to the public school, it wasn't happening for me. but yeah, that's right. That's where I stand.
Trust me, I get that. Since I'm from OKC, not Edmond, like we're like pretty much smack dab in the middle of OKC, and a lot of people from church went to like Edmond, Deer Creek, stuff like that. They're like you went to PC, you went to Putnam City North. They like when people first learned that, they thought Sawyer and I were some like hoodlums,
Hood rat.
which like if you like I'm not. I just like
He's got a Croc.
I literally wear Crocs every day, and people are like, you live on the south side of the highway. I'm like, oh yeah, south side.
Dude, south side of Gilpatrick's like, oh my god.
Yes,
you
bro.
heathen. That's literally.
Literally, so someone said the other day.
Wait, so PCO, PC North, and PC West.
Yes.
PCO original, obviously not bad.
That's no.
Or is that the worst?
So
PC West is the worst, right?
all three have fallen off.
They're not great.
None of them are great. My mom works at Putnam City Original High School, and it's pretty. I think it's no, PC West is the worst.
Okay.
PC West is the worst. Then Putnam City, then Putnam City North. But Putnam City North, it used to be like up here, and here were the other two. Now it's like boom, boom, boom. They're all
Like now
really
they're
close.
just one after
They're
another.
all really close.
Well, so I had
But-
a buddy in college that went to PC West, and I remember when he said that in our class, like we had like one of the college classes. We were like, "Tell us where you came from." He said PC West, and people thought like immediately like, "How did you survive?"
Yeah.
Anyways,
We get a bad rep, which is fair. We earned that rep, but it's cool. We're good at sports though. We got the best basketball team in the state.
Bradford.
St. Bradford
St.
went to our
Bradford
school.
went to PCN.
Yeah, we have a few cool alumni. Steve Largent played for the
Okay.
Seahawks. Went to Putnam City Original.
Really?
Nobody's gone to PC West. Ricky
Really?
Brady is the only.
Ricky Brady went to PC
Is
West.
the only notable like alumni.
That's a
for PC
goat.
West,
That's a
yeah.
goat from North Church right there. He's awesome.
All right, so I just have two more questions.
Okay.
The first one, this is another quick fire. You're going into battle. You're going into war.
Okay.
You're riding an animal. What animal are you on the back of?
Black bear.
A black bear?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to dive into that?
Yeah, so they're gonna take a shot. Like they're not gonna go down after one shot. And two, they're gonna be fast when they strike.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to say a lion. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to say a lion, but I feel like that was too like generic.
Yeah.
But then I thought, man, I'd be more terrified if I saw a black bear in person than a lion. Like
Running towards you like.
that'd be terrifying.
I'd be so scared.
So I think a black bear. Oh, maybe a gorilla. No, black
Ooh,
bear.
a gorilla would be kind of cool.
But like a R.I.P. Harambe, but they go down in like one shot.
Yeah,
That's like I think I'd take a black bear.
So Pastor Sampson said a tiger.
Okay.
And my dad, who was the first person I asked, off the top of his head goes, a freaking Lionosaurus Rex. I said, what is that? He goes, it's a lion and a T-Rex combined. He said it like quick.
What?
Like he didn't even hesitate. I'm like, have you been sitting on that one? He was like, no, I just came up with
He's
it.
thought,
I'm
no,
like,
he's
whoa.
thought of it. He
I'm
had
like,
that.
whoa.
Somewhere in his head, he was like, would I do that? Or that?
Why not both? Yeah. So
Think about, do dinosaurs count?
if you want, bro. It's,
Man, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with black bear.
okay, that's a good answer. And my final question for Christian B. Melman. This is for me.
Don't ask.
What's the B stand for?
I can't tell you.
So
can't tell you.
the reason I
You
call
told me this.
the reason
can't tell
the
me.
reason I messed with him about this. So his Instagram name is Christian B. Melman,
Yeah.
and because obviously that is his name, Christian B. Melman, and so like I'll just call him that sometimes, and then I realized I don't know what the B stands for. Then I realized I don't want to know what the B stands for. It's just B. It's just Christian B Melman. And people have tried to tell me. I've been like, no, don't do
I
it.
can't do it.
Don't do it.
I
You're
can't
not.
do it.
You're
I
not
have
going to tell
stay
me.
True to that. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to know, right? I know you asked me on here.
I felt like I should ask.
So we could present that to the
I
audience.
felt like I should ask, but
Yeah, I don't
appreciate
think
you
I
not
can tell
telling me.
I can't do that, man. Not to you.
so I guess I'll just never know.
That's just how it's
Maybe I'll learn someday.
Don't comment the middle name either. You can't do that. That's just harsh,
Yeah, like all the like Skylar always tries to tell me,
dude.
and she'd be
the
making
worst.
stuff up.
She's so mean.
I like to think that it stands for Christian Bootylicious Melman.
That's right. Just go with that. That works. That works.
So that was my final question for you. Is there anything you'd like to say? Anyone you want to shout out? Anything like that?
Man, I just want to say thanks for having me, dude. It was so much fun. I love the energy you bring, and I love getting to watch these. I was watching him last night, and I was like, bro, I gotta know what he's gonna ask me. I was like, I'm so confused. I texted you and was like, bro, you got a question list?
You have a question list for me? I said, yeah, that's confidential. He was like,
So I was like, man, I gotta know what to expect. Like, I'm gonna say something I didn't want to say, or I'm gonna do something I didn't want to do. And so, thanks for having me, dude. It's so fun. I love getting to watch these.
Dude, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come here. And that's all I have for y'all. I will put Christian's Instagram linked down below. Is there anything else you want me to link down below?
Nah, man, you're good. Link north.church.
Okay.
That's right.
I'll link
We got
north.church
coming up.
down below. And then I'm also going to try to get that video from Christian, and it's going to play as soon as we're done right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Pillow Talk. Thanks for watching.